So this is an interesting aspect that I discovered when we last met.
Yeah.
And something that, I mean, I feel many people don't know that side.
Mm-hmm.
You said something really interesting in an interview.
Yeah.
Which goes something on the lines of find a role model in yourself.
Yeah.
I found that really fascinating. Can you please elaborate on that?
Okay. As much as we do look up to a lot of people, I look up to athletes like Annie Thorisdottir, Bjork, Sarah Armanius, Mia Ackerland, Carmen. Like, all these people are incredibly amazing. And I look up to them, but as much as I do look up to them, I look within the role model within myself. So I would look back on where I was before, which was barely running a 400 meter under 3 minutes, or I wouldn't be able to do like 25 or 30 wall balls unbroken, butterfly pull-ups. You know, I would look back and say, wow, I went from that to this. And that is, of course, what inspires me, as much as it inspires other people as well. A lot of people have been through my journey for 5 years. They've been following me for 5 years on Instagram, so they know where I have been and where how far I've come. And I do encourage a lot of people to find the role model within themselves, because they don't know how incredible they are until they look within themselves. Every single person has their own individuality, their own self-expression, no matter what it is. Some people are just funny people. Some have a really good sense of humor. Some are comical. Some are artistic. And always look into that and channel that. And I think I do that all the time with my daily life, with writing or singing or or listening to music even. So always find a role model within yourself instead of chasing other people's expectations or heights. Yeah,
yes.
Set your own, I think.
Yeah. I think Matthew McConaughey, at the Oscars when he won this year, he had a very cool speech. Did you listen? It was something like someone had asked him who your role model was, and I think his role model is him 10 years from now.
10 years, yeah.
And he keeps going after
setting
that
the
guy,
bar. Yeah,
setting the bar higher and higher and higher. Amazing. Yeah, that just reminded me of what you just said. And okay, working with a life coach. So you mentioned something about working with a life coach, and I just wanted you to elaborate on that and just, give us the importance or how you feel about it. Where did it start? Why is it important, and why should more people work with a life coach?
Well, when I first started competing, I didn't know what I was channeling through my competitions and what I was channeling through my training, why I was setting the goals that I was setting. And when I did seek a life coach, there was a lot of baggage, a lot of things that were in my subconscious mind or in my mind, and maybe a lot of people, they don't believe in this, but everything that you see in front of you is a reflection of how you see yourself. Or how you think. So if I see somebody walking down the street and they're wearing short shorts, if I am judging them, then it's only because I either have an insecurity or I am angry because they do not abide by a law, for example. If it doesn't bother me, then I am completely in content with myself. So that's just an example. And when I first started competing, I found myself hitting a wall constantly. And I didn't know why I was hitting the wall. And I was having problems trying to convince my parents of what I want to achieve, and trying to convince my brother, trying to make people understand this is what I want to do and this is who I am. And it was always me trying to get out of this frustration, and I was constantly frustrated because why don't people understand? And once I started talking to my life coach about it, and she said, why do you want them to understand? What is it that you're trying to prove? Why are you always fighting against something? So then she would, after every session, she would tell me, reflect upon whatever we talked about, pray on it, meditate, and try to reverse all these thoughts that you have about it. So instead of like blaming other people, like, oh, this person and that person takes steroids, that's why they're better than me. So instead of pointing fingers at other people, why don't I just focus on myself? And that's how it changed a lot in me. Yeah, it pisses me off sometimes, like, you're on enhancements. That's why you're better than me. But it's also a lot of work and a lot of focus. And once you start steering away from focus on yourself, on the way that you think, on the way that you live your daily life, then you are going to lose yourself. And that's why I encourage a lot of people to start focusing on something as little as my nutrition. And a lot of people are going like, you really don't have a life. Like counting your macros and weighing your food, that's pathetic. And I'm like, well, nothing else has worked. Yeah. I am feeling amazing. I am performing better and I'm sleeping better and I feel great. So why are you bothered by it?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that as well, like trying to focus on myself, trying to focus on my personal growth. And a lot of people do see the effect of it and they would start asking me questions and I would try to guide them as well. So I think it is really important to talk about all of these things with someone, with a professional, of course, because we are all programmed to think a certain way. And when I first opened my Instagram account, I was constantly bullied or attacked or backlash or blah, blah, blah. You're a woman. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't be looking like that. When are you going to find a husband? Your husband's not going to love you because you're muscly. Like a lot of random crap. But it's only because I was constantly thinking of it. Every post I would put out, I was like, shit, now there's going to be another person that's going to say your shoulders are too big. And then there you go. Somebody would post about it. I'm like, see, that's what happens. And that would immediately disappoint me, hurt me, and then set me back from actually doing what I really want to do. So I stopped fearing about the other side. I stopped fearing what are people are going to think, what people are going to do, how people are going to judge me, because it doesn't really matter. As long as I am comfortable in my own skin, I am happy, I'm content, I'm enjoying life, and this is how I would preferably live my life. A lot of people ask me, how do you do it? I love waking up in the morning, I love training, I love eating like this, and I love training again and training and eating and training and eating. And if that is my life and I enjoy it, then woo, for me, you know. If it's not for you,
your life is yours.
Then it's not for you.
Yeah.
You don't need to attack me on a certain thing that you are uncomfortable with.
Yep.
And I always tell people that if you get these judgments or these comments constantly, it's either because you are always thinking about it. What are they going to think? How are they going to judge me? What are they going to say? Or because the people that are commenting just are judging what they don't understand because they're not experiencing it.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't like beat yourself up for it. Yeah.
Someone had just, Shaikha Al Qassemi, I don't know whether you're familiar with her, but she was just saying, it's like, she's a functional medicine doctor, and she was saying, you never know how good you can feel until you feel it.
Yeah.
So even, the stuff that you mentioned about the food and the sleep, and I think more people need to experience that. So many people have found, just waking up bloaty or waking up like with a certain ache or pain, just normal.
Yeah.
And they've never experienced like good health, good movement,
health,
good sleep, good
because
energy.
they think it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's even, they don't even know nothing. They don't even think something is wrong.
Yeah.
Or they don't even know it. Like, you don't know whether you're lactose intolerant or sensitive until you stop lactose, and then you feel, holy crap. I feel great. I look great.
Yeah.
I can move great. So, that's just my 2 cents on that. But that just reminds me of that. So you never know how good you can feel.
Yeah. Until you experience it.
You experience it. And very few people in life will actually do what you're doing and actually take that step and make those changes. And it's just fascinating, amazing stuff.
Thanks.
To realize that such a young age. I'm so old. Can we talk about the course?
Course? Oh yeah, the Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
Okay. So my life coach has a consultancy in Mirdif, and she started this reading session, and it's called the Blooming Magnolia. And the Blooming Magnolia is closed, so people are not allowed to be in it unless they are invited in it, because we are very like-minded people and we are very non-judgmental when it comes to the things that we talk about. And the course is basically a course in correction, or a course in reversal, mind reversal.
Yeah.
So we reverse the way that we are programmed. And I don't know if you're familiar, a lot of people have been writing books, and a lot of these people are students of the Course in Miracles. Someone like Power of Intention. Have you heard of it?
No.
Power of Intention, Power of something else as well. So Dr. Wayne something.
Okay.
I forgot his last name.
Well,
Dr. Wayne
find
something.
It,
Yeah.
I'll probably post it in the...
Yeah. So a lot of these incredible writers, they were also students of the course. And basically the course is summing up what is in front of us and making it extremely simple. We have a split mind. So we have the egotistic mind, and then we have the visionary mind. The vision mind is channeling our thinking through God, through vision, through truth, through knowledge. And the egotistic mind is basically, it has nothing to do with the devil, it has nothing to do with Satan, it has nothing to do with all that crap. It's basically how we have been programmed. So the ego mind would be guilt, fear, separation, and the vision mind, or the knowledgeable mind, would be unity, oneness, harmony, together. Basically, we're
Got
talking
it.
about humanity and like
Two opposites. Yeah.
Yes. So we get caught up in the middle, and we are mostly drawn towards the egotistic mind because we don't know anything otherwise, because that's how we were brought up.
Okay. Yeah.
So with everything that we do, we set intentions, of course.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they don't understand what are your motives behind these intentions. And they're like, well, I set my intention and I'm not getting anything in return. Like, but what are your motives? And why are you expecting something in return? So there's a lot of deep thinking, a lot of correction in the mind about how we set our intentions, what are our motives, completely trying to eliminate the need, because we don't need anything. We already have everything from God. We don't need anything. If people say, I need to lose weight, I tell them, well, bullshit, you don't need to lose anything. And you don't need anything in life, because God is already there and has provided everything for you. And there is the idea of fear and guilt and lack. So a lot of people say they want abundance in finance or money or wealth. And the first question I would ask them is, why? Is it because I want money? Why?
Yeah.
I want to live comfortably. Why?
Yeah.
Is it because you lack it? Because you don't have it? And then a lot of people say, yes, I lack it, that's why I need it.
Or you're jealous of someone else.
Or yeah, that's also channeling through the ego mind. So
Yeah.
that's basically, the course is the teacher and the student. So we have the teacher, who is Sultana, and the student is us, all of the girls that are within the group. And we are learning to become teachers as well.
Amazing.
And we practice it in our daily lives. We have prayers, we have meditation sessions as well. And with every experience, we always channel what we feel. So if somebody says, I'll give you an example. If somebody says, you look like a man, and I would take a second and I would think, how does that make me feel? It pisses me off. It makes me angry, because no, I don't look like a man. But why does it make me angry? What am I trying to prove? And then you would take it back from there. Think about where does it stem from. It's because in high school, a lot of girls said that, well, you look like a man. And that would really upset me because all of the girls looked like girls and I had broad shoulders, which made me look like a boy. So it's kind of going through that, stepping back and correcting how we used to feel about that and correcting it with the future so that we don't feel the way that we feel and we don't judge other people or judge ourselves through the process of whatever we are faced with. So anything that comes up, we would take it as an opportunity to correct the way that we feel or the way that we think.
Is there something on those lines that you know about? Is there a course on those lines that you know about, open to men or the public?
I think if anybody wants to look into that, just buy a shitload of books by Dr. Wayne. I'll just give you
I'll figure out.
Yeah, I'll give you the name of the teacher, or read about it. There's the Egotistic Mind or the Ego Mind book. There's Who Says You Can't, You Do. There's a book, The Power of Intention. There's a lot of these books, they teach people that, like to channel through the intention instead of channeling through motives, because a lot of people's motives come out of lack and need and fear and guilt and
Perfect. So there's something cool. Words that we should try to stay away from.
We should try to stay away from.
So for example, I know that when I was here the last time, I said something on the lines of setting high standards for myself. And I thought that would be really interesting for, someone who, has these thoughts and is open-minded in that aspect, to give us some guidance as to what words should we avoid in our daily lives. Like,
you shouldn't. I don't think you should avoid. You should change your mind about it.
Okay, go ahead.
So a lot of spiritual people, they always say this let go shit, and I don't know this let go. I don't know how to let go. What is let go? And we talk about these things a lot during our Course in Miracles session, and it gets really frustrating because the girls are like, what are we letting go? We don't know. I think a lot of people should think about what is it that you're letting go, why you're letting go of it. Why don't you just change your mind about it instead of letting go? Because what people do is that I just want to let go and move on. So they leave it in the past and they just like storm in the future. But they don't think about the reincarnation of how you're feeling, because
it's going to creep up.
It's going to creep up with your daily lives. So if, for example, somebody went through a divorce and you're like, oh, I'm just going to let go and move on. And every single day you're being asked, how did the divorce go? How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? And then the second you get asked that, you start feeling regret, shame, embarrassment, and like anger, frustration. So instead of letting it go, you start changing your mind about it. And I think that's really important for people to try to understand that you can't just let go. You can't like sweep the dust under the rug, because it's gonna come back. Another thing is, think positive. Please think positive. I know a lot of people that think positive, but they hate everything. I'm like, how are you thinking positive right now if you hate everybody in front of you? Oh, I'm trying to be a positive person. I'm like, but you're talking shit about everybody around you. That's not thinking positive. And it's the same thing about, why are you so negative? You're not being negative. Maybe you're just going through some frustrations in your life and you need somebody to make it clear for you. So this kind of like labeling things of what it is, like feminine, masculine, positive, negative, right, wrong. I think people should start looking into the gray area, because there's not one way or the other way. And I was thinking about it today. I raised the subject on my story today about how parents shouldn't constrain their kids from self-expression, and there isn't right or wrong, and there are a lot of families that would try to guide their kids to be a certain way because that's the better and right way to do it. And there is no right and wrong. There's self-expression, freedom, and choice. So we have the choice to think the way that we want, feel the way that we want. And I think a lot of these, I would say trendy words, they keep coming up. And the more people say it, the less it means something.
Yeah.
So I think redefining words is really important. Redefine it to your own preference. Something like, for example, opportunity is what we talked about this week. And a lot of girls were saying we would not accept a job, for example, or somebody was let go of a job and they felt like they lost the opportunity or they missed out on an opportunity. And a lot of people rush through because they have the fear of missing out on an opportunity. And what we talked about is an opportunity is only what you make it. And for example, I would get hundreds of DMs asking me to speak in different types of events, and I wouldn't answer, or I would tell them I'm not interested, or I tell them I'm busy. And once I started aligning my values, my preferences, I would get 1 out of 20 messages that would say, we want you to be a part of this. And I would see that as an opportunity. I wouldn't see everything else as an opportunity. Even if they pay me thousands of dirhams, then doesn't really matter to me, because the opportunity, what I sought, is in alignment of my personal movement and my personal growth. Yeah.
Amazing. So let's just recap that really fast. Right, wrong, positive, negative, masculine, feminine, opportunity, standards.
I think don't separate things into labels, into parts, because there's a choice in everything. Mm-hmm. And I could be masculine and feminine. There's no problem in being both.
Okay.
And I could be right and wrong. It's just a matter of opinion or fact.
Correct.
You know. So I think we always have a choice of redefining words instead of sticking with what dictionary.com says.
Got it. Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah. Got it. Any message to the youth, the women, the men out there? Let's start with youth.
Youth. Embrace yourselves. If I see kids being kids, I freaking love it. When I see teens, and as much as I have to work on this judgment, it really frustrates me seeing a 12-year-old putting on full face of makeup, and I'm like, wow, you're not enjoying your children, like your life as a kid. Mm. I remember being 16 and still playing with dolls, and until today I watch cartoons. So I think always channel your inner child. That's really important. So with kids, I think kids and youth, men and women and everyone should move, I didn't say train, I didn't say exercise, I didn't say lift, I said move. Movement is very important. Find your personal movement. If you feel like CrossFit is for you, then CrossFit is for you. Yeah. I was being asked I was coaching a class in Abu Dhabi for Women's Day. One of the girls said, what do you think about Zumba? And I'm like, I don't think anything about Zumba. If you're moving, then good for you, you're moving. Yeah. It's like, but do you think it's like a good thing? I said, what are your goals? What do you want? She said, I want a big butt. And I'm like, Zumba's not going to give you a big butt. You have to lift. So it's just knowing what you want as well. It's not just like randomly falling into something. So yeah, if you enjoy swimming, surfing, CrossFit, lifting, I don't know, anything, archery, just move, just enjoy the movement. And I think it's really important to eat well, have a balanced life, just because you're training all week doesn't mean you have to train on the weekend. I think that is freaking ridiculous for people to forcefully tell people that you are pathetic or weak if you don't train all week. No. If you want to take your weekend off, you take a weekend off. I spend every Friday in bed for 24 hours. I'm not joking. I stay in bed. I get up to make my food and I eat my food in bed and watch Netflix for 12 hours, and I'm not ashamed of it. Because if I am training throughout the week for an hour or 2 hours every single day, I deserve some downtime.
Yeah.
And I think every person should find that balance. And if that balance works for you, good for you. If someone else thinks that it's weak for you to not enjoy yourselves on the weekend, then you know, that's your own preference. You don't need to force other people to think the way that you think.
Yeah. On a serious note, what's your favorite Netflix show?
Netflix, Jessica Jones. I love her.
Oh, Jessica Jones.
I love Jessica Jones. She's badass.
Amazing.
There's so many. I watch so much. But yeah, Jessica Jones, I think. I watched it. I finished the new season in like 2 days. And I think I'm going to rewatch it again.
Her second season, huh?
Yeah, her second season. I think I'm going to watch the first and second season again. They actually released the second season on International Women's Day, which was awesome. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. When you get a chance, can you just take a picture from like far of like the cameras and everything? No, just when you're. We'll cut this part out. Yeah, just on your phone. Yeah, so we can. So we are coming close to the end of our interview. We'll talk about a little bit more into the training side of things. So it's called Eat, Sleep, Train, Repeat.